This is a bit of a different video today. I'm heading up to Castlemaine by myself. I'm actually going up to an ex-work colleague's property to help clear some fallen trees and some wood. I've got a trailer on the back with me to be able to bring some home for our fireplace, which would be nice. Maybe not for this season, given it's getting warmer now, but maybe for next winter season. And with me I've got a couple of chainsaws, I've got a bit of equipment to help do some clearing, which should be fun, and it'll be nice to make a day of it. So now that we've had our MU-X for 12 months almost, let's have a bit of a chat about how it's all going. We've done almost 20,000 kilometres since picking it up almost 12 months ago now, and it's been very problem-free. We've not had any major issues with the car at all. Really relatively standard stuff, like a couple of little rattles here and there. And we have experienced a little bit of tyre wear on the front left on the outer side. And around 6 months ago, I'd taken the car to Petters to get them to put in the new Isuzu alignment, and it seems to have slowed it down. It hasn't fixed it, as you would expect, but for the moment I'm happy with it before dealing with getting the different steering knuckles and things like that, so let's stave that off. In terms of modifications, you would have seen on some of the previous videos that since 12 months ago, and doing the majority of the mods like our tyres and bash plates and UHF radio, that I've added the 12 volt system, and that's been the wiring from the front to the back, the DC-DC converter, as well as all of the fridge box that I built too. And that's all going really well, which has been nice. The battery on just running the fridge has lasted sort of beyond 5 days, which is awesome. There was a period of time a few weeks ago where we just had the car sitting in the driveway and we didn't take it out because we'd not been well, and it had sat there for 5 days, and it was really only down to 60-70% of charge on the battery, which is really, really awesome. And the fridge did have things like water and drinks in it too to help keep those temperatures down, so it's not just cycling. But other than that, we've done quite a number of different day trips off-road, or even on-road as well, down to the Otways, out to Airlie's Inlet, which was nice, and then our various trips like the Victorian High Country, a lot around Marysville, so on and so forth. We'd hoped to get up to the snow this year, but it seems like the last few weeks has been a bit warmer, so there's not been any snowfall, so maybe later in the season we'll see something if it gets colder again, but we'll just have to wait and see. Otherwise, it's been winter here in Victoria, a number of different track closures, so there's not a whole lot of fall driving that we've been able to do or wanted to do either. So we're really looking forward to the warmer tail end of the year to get back out there and sort of mark that 12 months mark of putting out videos on YouTube as well. So in terms of some of the other things in the car, some of the other questions we get asked, are the driver assists annoying? No more annoying than in any other car that's out there on the market today. We've not really had any issues with them at all. Every now and again you'll get sort of a false positive saying that there's a collision warning, but I couldn't even remember the last time that happened, so it's pretty rare. It's also my first time towing in this car as well, and so far it's towing really well. The trailer that I've got is a 7x5 with a cage on it, and I should be bringing back around 1.5 tonne of timber, so I'll let you know how it goes after that, but so far you don't really notice the trailer being on there apart from the fact that it bangs and rattles around, which is pretty standard for something like that. Now, in terms of some of the other modifications that we're looking at doing now that we've had it for 12 months, I think one of the things that is on my list is to give it a 2-inch lift, which will be good to give us a little bit more ground clearance. And at some point in time, I think that we will change from the 20-inch wheels down to an 18. So I've got my eyes set on a set of Isuzu D-Max LSM wheels. I think that they will suit this car quite well. And then we'll go for probably a 32-inch tyre, so slightly bigger than the stock tyres. And that's for a couple of reasons. One, to give us a little bit more sidewall, but the other reason is that we still want to be able to carry the spare wheel in the spare wheel location under the car. Going any bigger than that, you start to run into issues with how much space is available between the pan hard rod as well as the tow bar. And we don't want to have to carry a wheel in the boot of the car, because that will mean that we'll lose all of our boot space. Off-road, we've found that the 20s, even air down, are a little bit uncomfortable. So far we haven't run into any grip issues, because the sort of off-roading we're doing is relatively light compared to what others might be doing. So it'll give us a little bit more comfort to what we have now, and I think that in the future it'll just give us that ability to get a little bit further than what we do in the 20s. But for the moment, or the time being, we'll keep the 20s until these tyres have worn out, and we've got some other things in the works that we'd like to save up for and put our money into before we come back and do wheels again. In terms of any other modifications, really there's not a whole lot on the list. Potentially some lighting for the front of the car at some point. The headlights are pretty good. No real issues with them. But it would be nice to have that little bit extra in terms of spotlights. Every now and again, if we're driving somewhere at night and want to see that little bit further or a little bit wider compared to what we can at the moment. The next thing for us will be to get a camper trailer, so we can spend some time away over an entire weekend and not spend a good portion of a morning travelling somewhere, seeing what we want to see during the day, and then having to spend late into the evening coming back home again. If we can head up to where we wanted to explore on a Friday night, camp there on the Friday, explore around on Saturday and the Sunday, and then come back Sunday afternoon, that'd be really awesome. Just give us that bit more flexibility, not feel so rushed, and also give us the ability to go a little bit further as well. Because while there is a lot to see and do within sort of a couple of hours of Melbourne, there's a whole lot more that are several hours from Melbourne, sort of 3, 4, 5 hours, that we'd like to be able to go and do, but it's just really not that possible at the moment without having a camper, unless we happen to hire a cabin or something for the night. But if we can find some free camps, then that'd be better than having to spend $300, $400, $500 a night when we go away and stay in a cabin somewhere, because cabins are getting pretty expensive these days, even at caravan parks. But apart from that, we've really loved the last 12 months of ownership of the car. It's given us heaps more space, drives really nicely. The Ford JJ3 is a really good engine. Yes, a little bit noisier, but it's rock solid, reliable. We've had no issues with it, and all around, the car, like we set out to 12 months ago, or even further beyond that, has presented us some really good value, and so from that perspective, it's ticked that box, and from the perspective of us being able to get out there and explore, it's checked all of those boxes as well. So we're really, really happy with our decision.